Welcome back. Now, in our last explainer, mapping out every level of civilization, we really dug into the jaw-dropping potential of intelligent life. We explored those massive megastructures, Dyson spheres, and sprawling galactic empires that could literally harness the power of entire star systems. And the math? Well, the math tells us that the universe is absolutely primed for all this incredible life to exist. But that brings us to a massive, frankly haunting problem. If the cosmos is this giant stage, perfectly set for trillions of actors over billions of years, why is it so incredibly quiet? Today, we are attempting to solve the ultimate mystery of our silent cosmos.
Okay, let's dive right into the simple but chilling question that kicks off this entire cosmic detective story. Where is everybody? This right here is the absolute core of the famous Fermi paradox. Just think about it for a second. We look up at a night sky packed with stars. Our universe has been around for nearly 14 billion years. That is an almost unfathomable amount of time. If a civilization started just a few million years before us, which is literally a blink of an eye in cosmic time, they would have had more than enough time to completely colonize the Milky Way galaxy by now. Logically, we should be tripping over alien artifacts. We should be seeing distant stars dimming as massive structures are built around them, catching stray radio signals buzzing through the void. And yet, there's nothing.
The sheer scale of this paradox is really what makes it so baffling. The math involved is just staggering. We're talking about trillions of potentially habitable planets scattered across billions of galaxies. So, statistically speaking, the cosmos should be this incredibly crowded, noisy place, just bursting with different civilizations at all these different stages of development. The odds heavily, heavily favor life. But when you contrast those astronomical probabilities against our actual reality, the paradox just hits you. We exist in this eerie, zero-contact reality. We call it the silence. The absolute mathematical certainty of life is colliding head-on with a total lack of observational evidence. We are basically staring into a void that statistically should be staring back. To figure out why we are experiencing this total absence of intergalactic life, we kind of have to treat it exactly like a cosmic crime scene. We need to systematically map out all the possible suspects, the barriers, and the solutions. And instead of just throwing out random guesses, scientists and theorists have built these incredible frameworks that logically categorize every major proposed solution to the paradox. Organizing the mystery this way actually reveals a tremendous amount, not just about where the aliens might be hiding, but about the terrifying trajectory that all intelligent life, including us, absolutely must face. So we can categorize these theories logically, progressing from type 1 all the way up to type 7. Basically, this scale measures the technological capability and energy consumption of a civilization. A Type 1 civilization might just be learning to harness the energy of its own planet, which is pretty much where humanity is sitting right now. As we move up the scale, Type 2 and Type 3 civilizations are harnessing the power of entire stars and galaxies. And by the time we hit Type 7, we are talking about beings capable of mind-bending cosmological shifts, perhaps manipulating multiple universes or reality itself. This progression is going to act as our roadmap today, starting with the earliest, most fundamental barriers to life and scaling all the way up to godlike technological evolution. Let's start right at the beginning of our scale with the concept of the Great Filter. This idea really forms the backbone of why those early Type 1 through Type 3 civilizations might just go missing. The Great Filter proposes that there is a massive evolutionary roadblock, a severe existential threat, that stops early civilizations dead in their tracks before they can ever spread across the stars. And this isn't just a theoretical hurdle. It could be highly tangible. Maybe it's the sheer biological improbability of single-celled life ever evolving into complex organisms. Or, perhaps much more terrifyingly, the filter lies right ahead of us. It could be that as soon as a civilization discovers nuclear energy, or engineers rogue artificial intelligence, or triggers runaway climate collapse, they simply destroy themselves. The filter implies that while life might be common, surviving your own technological infancy is incredibly rare. They get wiped out before anyone else can even hear them. But what if a civilization actually does survive its infancy? If they somehow navigate past that great filter without pressing the self-destruct button, we pivot directly to post-biological life. This covers our Type 4 through Type 6 solutions. At this level of advancement, a species undergoes a massive paradigm shift. They escape the fragile biology trap entirely and transcend their biological origins to become something digital or synthetic. And here is exactly why that explains the silence. If a civilization uploads their collective consciousness into an immortal, synthetic mainframe, they don't need habitable Earth-like planets anymore. They don't need liquid water or agriculture or sunlight. A highly efficient machine civilization actually prefers the freezing dark corners of space because computing is way more efficient in the extreme cold. We are constantly looking out there for biological paradises, while advanced life might just be hiding in the frozen, invisible depths of the cosmos. Now, what if the silence isn't a galactic graveyard full of civilizations that failed the Great Filter? And what if it isn't some digital hiding spot for hyper-advanced supercomputers either? The ultimate cosmic reframe pushes past all of that and flips the entire premise of the Fermi paradox completely on its head. This is where we reach those Type 7 solutions. Instead of assuming the silence means life is dead or that everyone's simply ignoring us, this perspective suggests we have fundamentally misunderstood the very nature of the universe itself. We aren't just missing the aliens, we are entirely misinterpreting the room we are sitting in. Under this reframe, the universe isn't some passive, empty void just waiting to be explored. Not at all. It is an active, rigorous civilization survival test, and we are currently right in the middle of taking it. Think of the universe as an ongoing proving ground with distinct, non-negotiable stages. First, a civilization has to blindly navigate its own technological infancy. Next, it must prove it has the societal wisdom to overcome the Great Filter without pushing that self-destruct button. And finally, if it survives all that, it must transition to advanced physics, moving way beyond the basic laws of nature we currently understand. So the profound silence we are experiencing right now isn't the emptiness of a dead universe. It's the quiet concentration of an exam room. We just haven't earned the right to speak to the proctors yet. A huge part of actually passing this survival test comes down to the very technology we're using. For decades now, humanity has been scanning the stars with these massive radio telescopes, listening super closely for a beep or a hum. But look at the stark contrast between our primitive radio waves and what a truly advanced species would use. I mean, if a civilization has successfully transitioned to advanced physics, why on earth would they communicate using slow, easily degraded radio signals? That would be incredibly inefficient. Instead, they'd likely be communicating instantly across the cosmos using quantum entanglement, or passing messages by literally manipulating the fabric of space-time itself with gravitational waves. Our basic technology literally cannot detect the frequencies the rest of the galaxy might be using. And that leads to a pretty profound realization. The universe isn't necessarily empty at all. We might just be completely blind to the actual conversation. We are desperately looking for the entirely wrong signals. It's kind of like trying to connect to the modern high-speed fiber optic internet using a 19th century telegraph machine. You could tap away on that thing all day long, and when you hear absolutely no response, you would logically conclude that the entire world is totally silent. But the world wouldn't be silent, right? You just wouldn't have the hardware to perceive the massive streams of data flying right past your head. The intergalactic community could be right in front of us, broadcasting incredibly complex data constantly. But until we advance our own physics and pass our survival test, we're going to remain completely deaf to the noise. All of this brings us to a critical crossroads for humanity. Because if the silent cosmos is actually a civilization survival test, it kind of forces us to look in the mirror and ask, are we currently studying for the right test? Look at our world today. We are pouring immense energy into fighting over borders and threatening each other with the very technologies that could destroy us. Are we too busy failing the Great Filter to even figure out quantum communication and advanced physics? If the universe is quietly waiting for us to prove we're mature enough to join the cosmic conversation, the real question isn't whether anybody is out there. It's whether we are bound to be filtered out before we even learn how to listen.